so much for joining me today on GinaHainesTV. Today we're going in to talk with TP. He is the General Manager at Supreme and he loves his work. Come on, join me.
My name is Anthony Allen Perkins. Most people call me Tony. Nearly everybody calls me TP, for short. I am a person who works in the hospitality industry, and I have done so since I was 15, and I will be 52 in November.
Well, there you go. Do you like your job?
Yeah, I love my job. It's not really a job. It's like it's strange. When I started and I looked into the sink and I was like, one of those days I'll be like having a white jacket and I'll be cooking and I'll be real. Oh, if I only knew what I was going to go through for the next 40 years or 30 years with, being a chef and travelling and having responsibility and having expectation and trying to be good at it and trying to be me and trying to grow up. And then you get out of the kitchen, you do stuff out the front and you meet people and you work for other folk. I've just got to enjoy it more and more as time has gone on, but I think it's in relation to how I feel about myself anyway.
Yeah.
Like, so I reckon I was 36 before I felt pretty comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
And I think it would be fair to say that in that period I took on some pretty big challenges in business, and as time's gone on, each of the choices that I've made, it's not that they've been good choices, but they've been my choices.
Yeah.
And I think that you sort of get to a point where, so the last couple of, we lost our shops and quite a few other things in the earthquake like everybody else. And then I went, when I met you at Raywood, and I think although we may have met before somewhere along the way, and
in a past life.
In a past life, yeah. And so we did Raywood out of total necessity, and I took over a business that was owned by a friend of mine, and he felt very passionate about wanting to get the cafe part of it right. He was my fruit and vegetable supplier when I owned Terra Viva in 2000 or 2005.
That was where we met.
There you go.
There you go. And I would never have connected that unless you said it.
Yeah, no, I knew that we would get there somehow.
Yeah.
And then after the earthquakes, he rang me and said, look, TP, I hear you've lost your shops and I've built a place and it needs some work and we'd like you to consider you helping us. So we had a meeting and we talked about what it meant to him, what he wanted it to mean to him. You could tell inside him a guy who had choices actually wanted to make this work for a lot of people. And so I caught my wave of individuality, my way of professional thinking. And our biggest driver was to make sure that we could get it to a place where the people that came got a type of food and service that we could be proud of ourselves, but also that we stuck the moral fibre of trying to give people an opportunity to do well for themselves, whether they were a part-time kitchen hand or the head chef. And that sort of dominated our whole working experience. We both had this shared identity about what we think humanness is.
What is that?
Oh, I think respect. If I talk about it when I hire here now, I haven't hired any differently for the last 20 years. If you come and sit next to me and you apply for a job with me, whether I have a job or not, the 4 things that I will ask of you are the following. I want you to be good at your work, but I need you to be good with your people, good with your colleagues. I need you to bring your manners and I need you to be tidy. And actually, I don't care if you're trisexual and purple after that.
Yeah.
You be you, don't be me.
Nice.
And I like having people around that want to do it, because we can skill them, but I cannot give them a good attitude.
Yeah. It would seem to me then, just correct me if I'm wrong, integrity and moral fibre is paramount.
Totally.
Yeah. And attitude.
Yeah. And so within the workplace.
Yeah.
So I'm really fortunate. I wake up being TP. I get in the shower being TP. I come to work being TP. I come to work to be TP, and then I go home being TP.
So there's no difference in between
none whatsoever.
TP and the work
TP? From a social perspective, there is. It would be easy to say for a bloke that works out the front that knows a lot of people in a small community that I am gregarious or I am extroverted, but in actual fact I'm none of those things.
Yeah, you're a very reflective thinker. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
You've got a sense of who you are.
Yeah.
And that sense is. I'm really interested in authenticity.
Yeah.
And how you get to a place where you sit well with who you are.
Yes.
But I don't think you can get to the place of sitting well with who you are until you've actually figured out who you are.
Yes, and there's a lot we're complicated. Well, we can be complicated. I think I'm lucky that I've not aspired to be anyone or anything that didn't satisfy me first.
Yeah.
But it took a while to get to that point. I suppose I am relatively easygoing most of the time. Most of the time I'm pretty chipper, but I'm very particular. So things that people find difficult with me are things if I find things that I'm dissatisfied with, I tend neither to raise my voice or use bad language. But it comes out pretty short.
Yeah.
And so what happens, you go from this sort of quite relaxed, caring sort of character to somebody who's just told you exactly what he thinks.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that's very difficult.
Yeah.
For me, it's difficult because I have to make sure that the transfer of information has got a certain amount of empathy with it, as well as the instruction. So sometimes I think about my shortness and define quite how short I may have been.
Which is obviously quite challenging.
It was very challenging. When I met you and was seeing you regularly at Raywood as a customer, in those days we were seeing 4,000 people a week. I employed 34 full-timers.
I never felt you didn't know me.
Yeah, well, I got to know you there.
Yeah.
I got to know you because I saw you regularly and we had these types of chats.
I felt valued.
Yeah, but it's difficult to achieve that so that it's personal to the person.
Yes.
And also what you want to do is you want to demonstrate it in a way that hasn't come from a manual, hasn't come from somebody you really would like to be like, so you're sort of sounding like them, but you're not really being yourself.
Yeah.
And so there's all these things that you just sort of get to feel about it as you go along. Truly, what I want for all the people that work for me now and have worked in the past is to be so good at it through me that they go on to get better jobs and leave me.
Yeah.
And even if they choose to do that, that's great. And there will be other people that we won't get along.
Yeah.
And they'll do stuff that doesn't suit me. And I'll do whatever's in my powers to make sure that we understand what that is. And if there's, nobody wants to be involved in disciplinary action or conversation, nobody. No. Nobody enjoys that. Dismissing people is something that ethically makes me feel nauseous.
Yeah. What does motivate you?
The opportunity to make change. And the thing about that is that I always look at change like a circle. So when I went to Raywood, it was, let's call it not a circle. Mm-hmm. By the time that I'd left, with all the other people that made a contribution socially, economically, financially, any other way, with their labours and their toils and their coffee making, their cooking and their service, the point for me at Raywood, when I acknowledged to myself where I thought that we were in a place that I would call proud of what we were, was when I looked back and I could see a full circle where everybody in it got something. And when that circle came full round, then I got my bit. And it was the completion of seeing everybody else get something that I needed.
It's kind of a long term.
These things are not short term.
No.
You know, we don't live in a population where there's 10 million people and you open a coffee shop and you're going to be rich.
Yeah.
This is not a franchise.
Yeah.
This is high labour, low margin, high compliance.
Yeah.
I have natural energy for things when they meet a full circle. And then the natural energy goes away.
Yeah.
And usually organically, and I don't really particularly like using that word, but normally what happens is that as you're cycling out of the circle, something else is coming along.
Yeah, a bit of like an ebb and flow.
Yeah, it's a bit of an ebb and flow. You don't know what's coming at you. You know, you don't know who's going to come and tap you on the shoulder and say, listen, we'd like to talk to you.
So how does who you are affect what you do then?
Well, I think that some of the things I don't think I know that I'm doing, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think that there's an element of what I do that I find so natural and easy to do that people will pick up and go, well, that's special. For me, it's just completely standard. There's only one level of doing things. This is the level of doing things.
Yeah.
I am what I am because of my mother.
Right.
I am what I am because of my grandfather, and I am what I am because of every experience, including the one that I'm having now with you.
Yeah.
Without having to think about really what they are, just how it makes you feel.
Yeah. If I said to you, okay, what 3 words would you use to describe yourself? What would they be? Honest,
respectful, caring. That's it.
In a nutshell?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
I think the caring was circumstance in the first instance and experience in the second instance. So my father died when I was a little boy. He was 36, he dropped dead and had a heart attack. And I'm the oldest grandchild as well as the oldest child. And so we come from a background where there is no money and there's no cars and there's bugger all to eat, but there's love. And so Mum, I think in her own way, was able to convey to me what caring was by the way she was with me, not trying to teach me caring. And so I've probably always made sure that everybody's got something before I had it. Mm-hmm. As I say to most people, if that's all the water that I have left in the world, then the two of you can have the major share and just leave me what's left. That's sort of how it works for me in everything that I look at.
Thanks very much for that.
You're welcome. Help yourself. Help yourself. But that's sort of what it's like.
I was just testing.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you were
that's sort of what, like if I...
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So whilst I have the capability to cook, because that's how I was trained, or that's what I'm interested in, is it's the sharing that I love. Yeah. Some of my friends call me weird. I quite like the weird. I do all sorts of interesting stuff when I'm not at work, or even socially.
What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Oh, I live it. Make a complete cock up of it. Find out what's good and find out what's not good by your own standards. Don't listen to too many other people. Get good advice. You know, like I had a grandfather that I loved to bits and he was great. But he just let me be me, and then every now and again he'd go, not that one. Well, not that thing. I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. I think we get besotted with what we're supposed to be. I think that's just, it's unlivable.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that, a bit like a bag of liquor at Hallshore, just be what you are.
Yeah.
And that's what a community is.
Yeah.
That's what a business is. That's what anything is. If we're all aiming to be this definite thing, then where's the individuality in that?
Yeah.
And where's the mistakes? You've got to get grubby knees in order to pick yourself up and dust yourself off. The key to that is, if you keep bruising your knees doing the same thing, have a wee look. Have a wee look at what you're up to. I've lived a full life.
Yeah.
And whilst I might have regret in some respects about how I may have treated some people, which is unusual given that we're sitting here talking about how purportedly I'm okay with them or good to them. But you know, I've made decisions that were poor, very poor.
Yeah.
But that's called learning. It's You've got to do it, you know. And I've had fun in ways that some other people will go, not so sure about that. But that's my deal, not their deal. I haven't hurt anybody else along the way. And I've had some really exciting moments in hospitality for what will be November. I'm 52, 15. You know, it's 37 years of being involved in some format near hospitality. I've done a couple of jobs outside of hospitality, but you know, it's a collection of my experiences that make me what I am.
Yeah.
And I think for whatever reason, maybe they're just coming out of me now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's taken all those years and all those different good, positive, bad, wonderful things to happen for me to just be me now.
What are you most grateful for?
Oh, being here, being alive and talking to you, having wonderful friends.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks. You can have that one. You know, having friends and family members that, you know, shape and make you what you are, to be able to get up every morning and just be myself.
Yeah.
And you know, I have a bad self and a good self and a not so great self and a short self, not a short tempered self.
So for you, if you finish the sentence for me, work happiness is?
Work happiness is walking away and knowing that the circle's complete and the noise of people that's positive is what that is.
Perfect.
Done?
Yeah, is there anything else you want to say?
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to chat.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
It's been great. Loved it.
Thanks so much for joining me today for TP's interview. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to him. It was awesome hearing his passion and how he's remained true to who he is. He's found work that works for him and he's loving the life he's living. If you enjoyed it, please like it and share it and comment, and pop on over to GinaHainesTV and check out more work happiness interviews. I hope you have a great day and thanks again for joining me.